found her, discovered her on TikTok. And yes, I use TikTok, and I know everybody who follows me knows I use TikTok. And I've been on it for a little bit. Actually, my daughters were the ones that really pressed me to start making more content. So I've been experimenting with it, having fun, doing business stuff, doing fun things, just really just loving the platform and creating on it. And I came across Leslie's videos and her account, and I got to tell you, it's absolute fire. I totally love your account. It's amazing. And I don't want to put words in your mouth. So I want you to explain sort of what you're doing with it, how you're using the platform, but more importantly too, how it's supporting like what you do in business professionally. Because for everybody out there who thinks that TikTok is just full of like silly dance videos, it is not. Yes, there's a lot of that out there, but there's also a really good blend of really awesome content being created by all different walks of people and cultures and professionals as well. And you can use it to definitely spread a professional message. And I love the way Leslie's doing it. So Leslie, welcome. Please introduce yourself. Let everybody know what you're up to and what you do other than produce TikTok videos.
Yeah, thank you. So I have a day job. I have a full-time day job as a head of new business development for a British research and advisory company. And then because I just didn't feel like that was keeping me busy enough, I also, this is back in 2018, started a sales consultancy. And, kind of, Chris, everything that's come from that was birthed out of the original idea of how can I make sales environments easier to be a part of if you're a woman or if you're a minority, and how can I help sales teams develop talk tracks or way to overcome objections that isn't the only way that generally tends to come from who's historically been a sales professional, which are white dudes. And so from there have, grown a presence on LinkedIn, made this decision to start a TikTok channel. But at the end of the day, everything that drives me is how can I make sales a more inclusive profession and a profession that is better respected by the average person.
Right. And I love that because it's like, listen, as much as we all love Glengarry Glen Ross and all that, and it's funny, but it's actually like pretty, it has, that epitome of, like you said, the male dominated like sales and all that. It's very true. And it's still very prevalent. I mean, it hasn't gone away. It has, it's still very much there. And I know it's a constant fight. And I think that you do a great job, like really shining a light on it and calling it out, which is I think some of the, when we talk about the TikTok stuff that you're doing, I think that's some of the funnier stuff that you're up to, but it has a real message to it, like you're not just like ripping on people, like you have a really strong message behind it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And oh my gosh, the number of people in my comments that are like, drop their links. We need to publicly shame these people. I'm like, no, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to kind of mockingly have a good time and just highlight the type of content that's being celebrated that I think is absurd and ridiculous. We were joking before we went live about a post I did where the guy was like, it's 3:30 a.m. I went to the gym for 4 hours. I'm on my way to China. Oh no, I forgot to set up a VPN. I won't have, it was just the most absurd post. And that's what got me started on this whole sort of series that I'm doing right now on TikTok, where I mock in a playful, not bullying way, the just absurdity of toxic hustle culture and like toxic bro culture and that kind of mindset that somehow every single person is destined to be an entrepreneur and it has to be entrepreneurship at all costs. Because I kind of fell into that trap at one point. And I know that I'm not alone. I mean, obviously, like the likes and the engagement on the videos show that we're not alone in thinking that that's maybe something that we can leave in the past.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's great too. And I love also because you also, it's not like you do the calling out stuff, which is great, which is really funny. And I think definitely calling that out is really good, to call it the absurdity and a toxicity of that bro culture and, the 9-figure bro and all that just nonsense stuff that, people really buy into like a lot. And I don't know if you're on Clubhouse, but I'm on Clubhouse, and there's a lot of that goes on in some of it. I'm not saying all, because I use Clubhouse, and I have my own rooms, and I've kind of find my own group of people that also are not very much into that, and we do our own thing. But it's very prevalent, and it's very easy to get wrapped up into those rooms until you realize they are what they are. But you also spend time too, really teaching people how to use LinkedIn a lot, which is another facet that I spend time a lot, and a lot of the other people I network with a lot here on the LinkedIn platform, and we also run rooms like that on LinkedIn too, really helping and educating and sharing ideas and tips. But you do that really great too on TikTok, creating great videos on how to utilize LinkedIn best practices, and even too when it comes to selling. Like for instance, one of the things you call out great, but in a really educational way, call out is the use of those cold emails on the cold in messages on LinkedIn, which we all deal with, and they all drive us crazy, because to me that's basically the epitome of cold calling, but even worse, I think, than just cold calling. Nothing against the cold callers out there, but those messages, just the constant bombardment of email in messages like that. But you talk about that a lot, the right way to do it and what's effective and not effective.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of that information, I just don't feel like it needs to be gatekept. Why not just give it away for free and help people and allow them to just understand what it looks like to craft a good message, what it feels like to receive a good message. It's really funny because obviously, a tutorial on LinkedIn where I'm teaching somebody how to build a custom URL, that one gets 2,000 likes. And a lot of people follow me for the funny series I do on kind of mocking the post. And they're like, wait, I thought you hated LinkedIn. You love LinkedIn? And I do. I think it's an absolutely incredible channel. I think it is a wonderful way to build community. I think it's a wonderful way to connect with a really diverse group of perspectives that you might not be able to connect with outside of a virtual world. And certainly as a sales tool, one done right.
Yeah.
Wonderful tool.
Yeah, I totally agreed. In fact, I'll call out my friend Joe Applebaum from Ajax Union. He says it all the time, and it couldn't be any more spot on. Is LinkedIn is literally a 24/7 networking event, a global networking event that never ends. And posting, commenting, all those types of things is exactly the same as going up to somebody and going, "Hey, how are you? What do you do?" It should be treated the same thing. It's not. Yeah. I know the old way of thinking was that, LinkedIn's a resume site, and that's what it is. You put your resume up there, and then you hope for the best. And it's those days are so gone. It is such a live and vibrant place to do business, meet people, create relationships.
Yeah. And I also feel like that's the absolute perfect example of how to use it properly as a sales tool. Because at a bar, you would never walk up to somebody and be like, Chris, I am with procurement leaders and what we specialize in, right? You would never, ever do that. So why do you send messages like that to people instead? I love what you just called out as having that opportunity to be in the conversations where they're already at and have that chance to engage, comment, whatever on something that they're passionate about and connect in a more meaningful, maybe more organic way.
Yeah, 100%. Because and that's the stuff I'm always talking about, because I come at it from a personal branding side of talking about content. And I know there's that line. Some people are like, well, I don't want to go too crazy personal on LinkedIn. And I do that more on Instagram and other things. And I'm like, listen, you don't have to be showing pictures of your family and things like that. You can choose. But what I'm saying about personal branding isn't just about what you ate for dinner or your pictures of your family, but your personal brand is the things you believe in. What's your value system? What's your core values? What do you stand for? And also, what do you like? What makes you you? You may be an amazing sales leader, but you also may be an incredible cook, or you're really into cooking, or you're a painter, or you're a gardener, or I don't know, you're a music, whatever those things are. To blend the two together that's what personal branding is about, because that's you're doing business with people you like and trust. But that's kind of a golden rule that doesn't really change really ever. It's still a human being at the end of the day making a buying decision. As much AI as there is out there, a human still makes a decision. Yes, I want to buy. Yes, I want to meet this person. Yes, I want to connect. You know, it's
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we all want that feeling of connectedness.
right.
And I think LinkedIn very much has been on a journey where at first it was just a place to go get leads and just a place to post your virtual
Yeah.
resume.
Yes.
And as it evolved from that, people started posting more content, better content. But there was, I think a bit of a hesitation amongst content creators to show too much of themselves.
Yeah.
And beyond LinkedIn, I really think in business, there has been a push to be more authentic and for it to be okay to just be a human, just show a little bit of that. And we're seeing that gravitate on LinkedIn. But one of the pieces of advice that I always give folks, and tell me if, as an expert, which would you think? But when they're setting their headline, I always say, don't make your headline just your job title. That's just bleh.
Yeah.
And that it's totally okay. I say you maybe put 3 things about yourself in there and make sure one of those 3 things is not work related.
Yeah.
Just one thing. I'm a dog lover. I fly kites. I don't care what it is, but something that makes people say, I do that too, or I care about that too.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I also don't think it's a set it and forget it type thing either, because it should, not that you got to update it every week, but like, don't let a whole year go by without updating it. Maybe once a quarter, add something new, change it up, just because, hey, you are more than just your job and what you do for a living. Like, exactly, like add those little bits of flair in that are basically, it's your personality, it's you, it's who you are. Like, there's nothing wrong, because I'll tell you this, there's so many, and I'm sure this has happened to you. I mean, there's no way it could have, because you're definitely a person who's not afraid to really connect with people and find those common bonds. But like, I have gotten more business and relationships out of the fact that people know that I like rock and metal and punk, and that I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, and that I play guitar, and that I'm into music, and that, I love talking about like geek stuff. Like, so much stuff has started there and then turned into, oh, so how can I help you? How can I help you in business? Or, what is it that you do? Or that, and it's always, and I've gotten overwhelmingly more relationships in business from that than like, I'm a personal branding coach. Like, it's just not, because that's the thing, is people want to connect with people that they find likes and similarities with. And I'm sure that's happened to you. Like, it's like, oh, you like bourbon? Oh, I like bourbon too. Let's talk about bourbon for 25 minutes. And then before you know it, it's like, hey, how can I help you?
Absolutely. One of my favorite cliches, but it's a cliche because it's true.
Yeah.
Is people hate to be sold to, but they love to buy.
100%.
So people have a need and I'm there and they already trust me and they already know I'm a credible source. I'm so much more likely to become the direction they go versus me being like, this is what I do. Give me your business.
Yeah.
I'd like your money now, please. So I think you're totally right that it's, and I think that's also new. I don't think that necessarily was true 5 or 10 years ago.
Right.
I think we have a lot more flexibility to lead with sort of a social selling mentality.
Yep.
And rely on our networks and kind of that trust and credibility to bring clients in. And I love it. I think it's such a wonderful kind of progression of how we all operate, how buyers like to buy, and how sellers can maybe connect in a different way.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. I want to just back up real quick to a little bit about the TikTok again, because what I just want for people to understand too, is it's like, listen, you're doing it and you're talking about business stuff. I mean, you're obviously having fun with it, but I think a lot of times, like much like any other platform, I think everybody's trying to say, well, where do I spend my time? I'm already using a ton of platforms already. And it's like, and I really think TikTok, and rightfully so, I mean, it's just the perception is that it's not a good way to use my time. It's not a valuable place for me to spend time creating content, so to speak. And no one really cares if I'm creating business-minded videos there, and I probably shouldn't even begin doing it. So just from your point of view, because, listen, you're a professional, you're busy, you have a lot of time, your time is valuable. like, how did you get involved in the TikTok? And then
Right.
where did you begin to like really go, hey, you know what, this is something I should put some time into? Because it's not like you just do one video and then like nobody hears from you like for like weeks on end. Like, you're on there a lot, you're consistently producing content. So just want to hear a little bit about that. And I think people would find value in hearing your story, your perspective.
Yeah, I really appreciate the question too, because you're spot on that people have a perception of TikTok as being one thing. There's only content for one type of person.
Right.
There is content for every type of person on TikTok. And say what you will about the algorithm, but suddenly it's sending me goat videos. And I'm like, how did you even know I wanted to see videos of baby goats? But you just made my day. But for business, I knew, so in February, I released, let me take another step back.
Sure.
So I was getting a lot of requests on LinkedIn for one-to-one support and one-to-one coaching. It's just not something I had the bandwidth for.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, I'm not really in the, like, I'm going to trade an hour of my time for X amount of dollars. That's
Right.
not the direction I'm trying to go. But supporting that exact group of people, women, recent grads, people struggling to find their voice in sales, that is what I am most passionate about. So I had to sit with it for a second and say, how can I better align to that group of people? So I launched my TikTok channel for that reason. The majority age group on TikTok right now is 18 to 24. They said as of Q1 last year, about 68% of 18 to 24-year-olds in the US have TikTok. Mm-hmm. And so when I think about the next generation of sales professionals, that's where they're living. So that was a huge reason I went to TikTok, because that was the audience I wanted to connect with and I wanted to try to help and support. The other reason, Chris, was that I kind of had a moment where I looked at my LinkedIn newsfeed and I realized that every single post, not every single, 90% of the posts were from that group of like middle-aged white male sales experts.
Right.
And that maybe LinkedIn just wasn't the right place for my voice. And that doesn't mean I don't still publish content. I have nothing but good things to say about LinkedIn, but like, where was I going to make the biggest impact? Mm-hmm. And I thought about Instagram. I was on Clubhouse for a while. Just that wasn't the right vibe for me. Mm-hmm. Stepped into a couple rooms with some bullying and some shaming. I'm just not there for that.
Yep.
Thought about Twitter. I really had I think through all the channels and decided to go with TikTok. And I guess the third reason is that in August, TikTok launched TikTok for Business. Mm-hmm. So it's very new. And it is predominantly B2C right now. There isn't a big B2B presence. But for your audience, for anybody that is thinking, I want to connect with sort of that next generation of professionals, I want to connect in an environment where there's a zero tolerance policy on bullying and on shaming, and where maybe I want to be kind of an early adopter of a new B2B platform, like, come join me. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing like being an early adopter on something like that. And it's a ton of fun to do. And it's like, and then when you start to say, hey, you know what, my time, there is good value in my time here. This is worth my time. I am building an audience, and hey, even better, I'm starting to see some results from it. There is some ROI, whatever your ROI is, that, isn't it? And it could be, yes, it's direct transactional. It could be, hey, I'm building my list, getting more downloads to my lead magnet. I mean, whatever those measurables are for you, that's sort of, your KPI stuff like that, all those types of things. But when you start to see that move, the needle starts to move, you're like, okay, I found my spot.
Oh, it's a great top of funnel activity. And in your profile, you can put a link tree, or you can put like one specific link. Right. I released the playbook back in February. So I have that. So it's more or less acting as my top of funnel activity to that. Tomorrow, actually, February 12th, for whenever you're listening to this, will be 6 months on TikTok since I launched my channel. Last week, I passed 10K followers.
Wow. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. I've had multiple videos go over 250,000 views. Let's be honest, I'm never going to go, I'm using air quotes here, like super viral, because I'm not doing the dances or the cute stuff. But there is obviously an appetite for B2B sales and marketing content. There's obviously an appetite for that like death to toxic hustle culture on TikTok. So I know people might not realize it or maybe even believe it when they initially open the app.
Right.
But I promise you that there's a community being built around that, and definitely would encourage anybody to get on TikTok and start sharing their own story,
right?
Whether it's B2B or sales or whatever it is. It's a really lovely avenue for building what I like to call fans instead of followers.
Yeah, I love that. That's actually a great way to frame it up. I think, and that's too, like, I love flipping the perception of that for, you know, and for anybody that's listening, that's a professional and looking to get into business, or you're in business already. It really is a wonderful platform for doing that. And, you know, for me, like, all I could say is, you know, jump in, dive in, have fun, create it. I mean, it's all okay. Like, really just start creating content. If you don't know what it is, if you don't know what to do, then you know what, that's when I say go and just get on the app and just watch videos, you know, watch like Leslie, like watch video, you know, because the thing is too, it learns your habits and it starts serving you content. It's like, oh, well, if you like Leslie's videos, then you may like these other creator videos, and just start participating in a community like that. If you don't even want to start creating, you know, really listen, watch, learn, like, you know, leave comments, things like that is a great way to start as well if people are like super hesitant.
And something I would add, Chris, is that I think there's a perception, and this isn't just TikTok, but content creation in general, that you need to have the fancy headphones and a mic, and you have to have some big production. You don't. People are not correct. People are not showing up for your video camera and your ring light. People are showing up because something that you're saying really resonates and speaks deeply to them. So you're spot on. Just take action today. Just take action. Just record one video, put it out there, see what happens. If you hate it, later delete it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can delete it later on. Like, at least give yourself like 24, 48 hours before you hit the delete button, because you never know. It always starts slow like that too, at least for me. Like, I'll put a video up and it'll be like, all right, it gets like 1, 2, like 4 likes or something, and or views, and all of a sudden it's like you come back like a few hours later and it's like, oh wow, there's 200 views here, there's 300 views. I mean, those are the kind of views that I get, because it's like I don't have 10,000 followers. I think I have like I think I still even have under 100 followers, but you know, I don't care. Like, for me, I'm having fun creating on the app. I'm learning, I'm watching, I'm trying different things. I'm mixing business messaging with fun stuff about Star Wars. Like, I just, you know, I'm just having a good time with the app, and I'm trying to see, like, I'll find my own footing on it. But I'm just, for that, I'm having fun creating on it, and enjoying watching, you know, the content like you're putting out and others are putting out too. Like, and I just think it's really cool. That's why I'm hoping people see this video and listen to your story, and they go to your LinkedIn profile and see that, like, listen, like, you know, it's not like Leslie has all day to be on TikTok. Like, she's running a business. Like, she's a very successful professional. Like, you know, her time is valuable. She's not just wasting it being on TikTok the whole time. So it's for everybody that's like, well, I'm busy. It's like, well, you know what? You're finding value and you're carving the time out to do it. I mean, how much time a day would you say you're investing in TikTok based on now the results that you're seeing?
So this is maybe like my big secret.
Yeah,
I'll just share here. I batch create my content.
That's the way to do it.
Like a crazy person, I change outfits so that it kind of looks like I'm doing it on different days. To anybody who's really feeling like, oh no, she's not uploading new content every day. I do not have time for that. So every time I'm inspired, I have a book of all my inspirations. I go and I write that down. And then generally once a week, because you do have to stay on top of trends with
Sure.
TikTok, generally once a week, I'll batch upload, I'll batch record and then edit and upload all of my content. But something else I would say that I think is quite lovely about TikTok is that it's really easy to repurpose TikTok content for other channels.
Yes.
So you can use your TikTok content for your Instagram reels. You can turn your TikTok content into a LinkedIn post. You can, do a TikTok live while you're cold calling, or like there are so many ways that you can take action and you can be present on the app and gain that sort of group of followers or gain that community without being on it every day. With that being said, for the first 3 months I was on it, I posted 2 to 5 videos every single day for 3 months, period. I still post at least 1 video, usually 2 every single day. So it's a commitment, but it also, you don't need to be on the path to get to 10K at 6 months. You can just use it to connect with people and have a new channel and have fun. So it doesn't have to be just one thing.
Right, which I think is it's really important to know that, and I love too that you said batch create, because that is the way to do it. That's how I do a lot of my own content. I mean, of course, there's quick things I'll do during the week, but the bulk of my stuff tends to be batch created. Like for me, it's usually Mondays. Like Mondays, I usually take the day, that's my creator day, and I'll create my different things, whether it's stuff in Canva, videos, all that. And then I get a bulk of it done, and then I drip it out during the week. And then if there's something else I want to do, I just do it really quick. So I'm not spending like hours and hours like every day creating content.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not only an excellent time management technique to batch all of your work, or like for you do it on Mondays, so you kick off the week. For me, I do it on Sundays because that's generally when I'm feeling most inspired and kind of most energetic to do it. And I think it keeps it fun. It doesn't make it feel like, oh, I have to do another video today. It keeps it a lot more fun, and I can show up with a lot more energy and a lot more excitement for both TikTok and LinkedIn, as well as my day job that I need for things like medicine and my mortgage.
Right. Like real things. That's amazing. I love that. That's really cool. I want to just have a moment, because you did mention it before, and I bring it up on the screen now, and I do want to make sure you talk about this, because it is something that it ties into TikTok, but you're promoting it, but you have a product here. So your Unleash Playbook. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So this came out of all of those asks for one-to-one coaching time and one for one-to-one support. And I just couldn't, but I wanted to do something to help. So for literally less than $100, I made like everything that I know that I thought would be pertinent for somebody that's like a recent grad or new to sales or just struggling to find their voice on sales into this huge playbook. I think it's 8 modules now. And I just made it like a one-in fee. So that's not like I'm trying to charge people $5 a month here and there. That wasn't my game with this particular thing. And it's everything from get hired faster on LinkedIn to how to build a brand in 1 hour on LinkedIn, outbound sales tip, cold calling tip, like in-mail tips. I as much as possible, I try to pour everything that's in my head into the playbook and then make it as inexpensive as I possibly could. And Chris, if people count for $98, like still reach out. I'm still going to help you. But I'm super excited about it. And I think what has been most exciting about the playbook, but also about TikTok, are not the huge views or the 10,000 followers. It's the single comments from people saying, I used this tip on the phone today, and I got a second meeting. It's my first demo I've set up all week. I used this tip, and somebody that's ghosted me for 4 months said yes and sent back their contract today. And it's those moments that, just leave me with a massive smile on my face. And those are the moments that really validate the time and the effort I'm putting into that kind of vision of making sales more inclusive and making sales more respected profession.
Yeah, I think that is it's just awesome, because I mean you're coming from such a great place to put that much time and energy into something. But this is what we should all be doing, though, as professionals, is what we're passing on what we've learned. And yes, it has value to it. I mean, you're not undervaluing it, but your mission is to, like, listen, I want to educate everybody who's coming up like I came up. And and this is one of those things you're like, boy, I wish I had that when I was coming up. So what do we do? Well,
exactly.
Let's create it for the people who are coming up. And I think it's a really great thing, because it's what we should be doing, is passing on what we've learned, our unique set of experiences and knowledge, that we know we can share. And for people who want it, hey, it's there. And hopefully they find it valuable and they learn something from it. And like you said, they share a comment like that, like, wow, what you showed me today made me better. I was able to close this deal, or talk to someone better, or gain a new client, or whatever it is. And that's like I always love to say, and this is something when I used to take martial arts, my my instructor used to say all the time to us, like, your goal is to be 1% better today than you were yesterday, and then tomorrow 1% better than you were today. And it's like, and that's really it. Small incremental changes are the things that really add up and make a difference, rather than just like, let me get all the knowledge like right now. And it's like, you're not even going to know what to do with that. Like, you're not even going to retain any of that.
No, it's that process of continuous improvement. And something that you'll hear me say all the time is progress over perfection. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier, like, just take action. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like, just go out there, do something today, take one step forward. Honestly, perfectionism is kind of boring, so let's not worry about that. Let's just go out there, do our level best, and have a good time.
Yeah, I love that. It sums it up so perfectly. I love what you just said there. So I know we're about 35 minutes in, we're getting close to wrapping it up, but I do want to have a little fun. So just for everybody listening out there, I mean, so you're on TikTok. So what are some of your favorite TikTok accounts? Like, because I know personally, there's a few that I'm like, these are my go-to. Like, which ones are the ones that you kind of like really, like, you're like, oh my God, this is just fantastic. Like, good humor, or it's creative, or just good, solid information.
Yeah, you're really putting me on the spot here. So there are a couple that are the same kind of funny, just like mocking corporate America and what it's like to be a millennial. There's a lady, I think her handle is Corporate Natalie, who's really funny. There's a guy, I think his handle is just Rod or Rod Me. Also, I mean, just like super funny. There's a couple other accounts I like for very specific reasons. They're not super funny, but there's a guy called Rob Cancelia, who's an executive recruiter. Mm-hmm. And his stuff is good, like nice. Really good, really helpful. It feels like you're getting the inside track of stuff that maybe you aren't supposed to even know about resumes. Really good. There's another guy called Tamir that does negotiation skills, I think is his handle. Mm-hmm. And he's exceptional. If you post in the comments a specific question, he'll do a reply video for you.
That's really cool. That's excellent. I love that too. Like, being very active in the comments and going back and forth with people, I think is also key. Because if you start doing videos and producing content on the platform, it's really important. And that's the same thing too with LinkedIn. Just to bring it back to LinkedIn there for a little bit, is that getting back to people in the comments and things, when you post and all that, is like being very active in the comments is a great way to, it's like the conversation. It's like if you were talking to somebody and he just completely ignored you and you didn't give a response. And so there's so much that can be done just there, which is like, listen, if you're even on TikTok and you aren't creating, doing what you just said, like just being in the comments, because people like that take the time to get back to you, and then you're kind of messaging with them, and maybe you meet other people in the comments, which is all this.
Absolutely. Rob's a perfect example. There's a 0% chance I would have connected with an executive recruiter at his caliber in the way I have if it wasn't for TikTok. Like, that guy's not going to just like write back to my LinkedIn message.
Yeah, exactly. But then on TikTok, he's a lot more accessible, because he's probably getting bombarded on LinkedIn with all those cold emails that, we're talking about, that are just like, hello, my name is Chris. I do personal brand coaching. Would you like
Yep.
to meet? Like, it's just like, come on, but like on a platform like TikTok, then it's a little bit more like, hey, he's going to take the time to get back because it's a little bit different. And I don't think he's getting spammed like crazy on TikTok in the way that LinkedIn works.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. So before we wrap it up, I want to just make sure if you have any kind of final wrap ups or any kind of final words you'd like to tell everybody. I have the Unleash. Make sure you go and check out Leslie's playbook, which you can get unleashplaybook.teachable.com. You'll be able to click on all of Leslie's links in the show notes for this and in the comments too if you're watching this live. But if you're listening to the audio version, you'll be able to click on all these links and get access to her Unleash playbook and also her TikTok account and all her other links, LinkedIn, all that. But I want to give you the opportunity, Leslie, to say, is there anything else you'd love to depart? Words of wisdom, check this out, whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, just thank you for being my hype man. I love that. Like dropping the link, right? I mean, thank you. I think that the advice is, I get it. I've been there. Like, jobs are not easy. I don't care like what gender or race you are, like work and life can be hard. And I think it can often be very challenging, or maybe there's a bit of imposter syndrome that comes with taking that step to finding your unique voice and taking that step to understanding how you're going to operate that's closer to your core values. So I'm not saying it's easy, but I will help. I know Chris will help. So let's connect on LinkedIn. Let's connect on TikTok. Let's inspire each other. And just to make it totally circular, let's take action.
I love that. I love it. It's so great. I love that so much. That's so perfect. Great way to wrap it up for sure. And yeah, absolutely. Make sure you connect with Leslie. As I said, all her links will be clickable in the show notes, and as well as the posts for this video. If you're watching it live, looks like we've got a comment coming in, and it's from a untitled LinkedIn user, but we got, she's so right. Boom.
Thank you.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So I want to thank everybody so much for watching live with us today. Thank you so much to Leslie for coming on. I really appreciate your time today. And for everybody who's watching this, please make sure you do all the stuff, the liking, the sharing, the subscribing, share this video, share it with your friends. If you're listening to the audio version, do all the same stuff. Share, subscribe, all that stuff too. Really appreciate all of you. And make sure you come back next Tuesday for another episode of Rocket Live. We're here every Tuesday live, 4 p.m. Eastern. Unless otherwise noted, we're here at 4 p.m. Eastern. And we'll be back with an awesome guest next week. Thank you again, Leslie, for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. Have a great day, everybody.
Awesome. And always remember, everybody, be authentic, be yourself, and always remember to rock it. Yeah.